game on the whole, Clive, we had 11 shots on target last night, which is remarkable when you think about the quality of the opposition we were up against. There was a part of me watching it back this morning that feels like we should have got a fourth. And I know
Yeah.
that's me being greedy. We've just beaten Real Madrid by 3 goals to 0, and I should be buzzing, and I am buzzing. But there was a part of me that looked at it and thought, if only we'd nicked one more. Am I just being greedy?
Yeah, I think you are, mate. You've had your fillet steak. Now you want your scallops as well, right? So I think it's it's silly. No, when you see the double save and the clearance of the line, you hope for one more. Then you have to flip it round and say we haven't scored a free kicks inside an afro, right? So then we scored two in 12 minutes, and then you say to yourself, well, I'll take that because the goals that we did miss were like really good saves and goal line clearances, and so yeah, you want one more because you just want to make it absolutely safe. But actually, it'll keep us focused. We saw when we beat PSV, we weren't really super focused in the second leg, so it'll keep us focused. And so yeah, I'd like the one more, Harry. But yeah, I'd like lots of things in life. I'll take 3-0 home versus Real Madrid.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Right then, let's get into the bit that everybody's waiting for, the bend it like Declan section. I mean, listen, we've seen him, Rory, over the course of the season become a real, and last season as well, but become a real kind of useful set piece taker. Mainly though, with the focus on corner kicks. We've seen him deliver crosses from deeper areas and stuff, but didn't for a second think that Declan Rice was going to put one, let alone two, into the back of the net the way he did on the night. Just sensational. The first question I'll ask you, and I'll put it to Clive, and then we'll kind of analyse them a little bit. Which one was better for you? Because this has been an interesting debate this morning.
For me, the second one is possibly the best free kick I've ever seen. It's you talk about a postage stamp. It is unbelievable. It's on Courtois' side. He gets nowhere near it, and it's the pace on it. Every time I watch it back, you're watching it in real speed, but it's almost like it's sped up. Okay, it's unbelievable. And yeah, it is possibly the best free kick that I've ever seen. And we know that he's capable of whipping the ball. You see those angles sometimes of the corners, and he gets so much whip on it. And I think we've all kind of thought, like, why can't we translate this into free kicks? Because he's so accurate with it. And yeah, for the first time last night, it all just seemed to click together finally. And I don't ever want to see another Arsenal player stood over a free kick other than Declan Rice.
Clive, your thoughts?
Yeah, the second one was incredible because again, it's all about emotions, isn't it? The first one you sort of think, well, that's great, isn't it? He's over the ball for the second one. It seems to be a bit further out, and then you're thinking, well, he couldn't, could he? And, and then he does the job, right? So, and yeah, I do think in the Everton game at the weekend, there was a moment when Rice got the ball sort of in the left-hand channel, and he went for a reverse pass, and I said to myself, mate, trust your talent. You've got a great strike on you. Take your shots. Just take your shots. And the point about shot accuracy last night was a real prevalent one for me. If you ask yourself about us as a team, we're a well-structured team on and off the ball. We play, we pass, we're quite collective. But I sometimes feel we're not obsessed by scoring. We just play. And I felt there was an obsession yesterday to really strike the target hard with accuracy and really take the opportunities. And if you're thinking about next season, which I already am, looking at how we can improve, that's one of the things I want to see improve. People who are really obsessed with hitting that target hard, not just playing the game really well and looking like a very good, strong positional team on and off the ball. I felt that last night, and I was so pleased to see it.
I slightly lean towards the first free kick being the better of the two. I think they're both amazing, but the reason I say that is because I feel like there was a little bit more whip on the first one, and it was so out of the blue. It was so unexpected. Like, I mean, Declan's kind of thrown Nicolas Jover under the bus a little bit, hasn't he, by coming out and saying that he told him to cross it. This all-knowing set-piece coach that we have, this guru of set-pieces, got that horribly wrong, and Declan just defied him and did what he wanted to do anyway. And the result was incredible. Look, they're both amazing, but just the whip on the first one for me was just incredible, unbelievable stuff. And I mean, guys, just talk through the moment when, especially that second one went in, because I looked around and almost everybody within eye shot of me basically had their hands on their head as if to say, what on earth have we just seen? What has just happened? I mean, Rory, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was my seat was up in the heavens, second from the back row, and it was just I can't really even remember the first part of the celebration. It was just absolute carnage. My shins and knees are battered and bruised this morning from trying not to go head first over the row in front of me. So I know it was good. And then that afterwards there was kind of just a moment where everyone was just in complete shock. It was just like, what have we just witnessed? And then you look back and you're like, that's one of those moments that, 15, 20 years time, we'll still be talking about that moment and that goal. And yeah, it's a privilege to have even been there for it.
Clive, how far did your jaw drop when the second one went in?
Yeah, well, I have to apologise to a few people sitting near me because I squeezed their heads off, right? So, and so it was, yeah, it was incredible. I will say that it really was incredible, and it makes you think sometimes, where has this been? Where has this been? But just want to stay on the positive side of things. I just feel that we deserve that. I think the club really needed this game. They needed this game. We talk about where we were when Mikel joined, we were 10th, whatever, and what we've had to do to clean up the squad to get here. Then you play Bayern Munich, and the Bayern Munich game was really a marker for me because you looked at it and you thought to yourself, okay, they are good. They're rested. They're not going for the league. They're rested. We were going for league, remember? And we struggled in that Bayern Villa Bayern week. We didn't quite have the energy to overcome it, and it was all a bit new. And we hit par quarterfinals. Take our 90 million quid and we move on to next year, right? So, whereas this year I felt we're much wiser in the competition, and I feel we have a bit more confidence in who we are, and that's still to be grown. By the way, I think the next phase of Arsenal is an improvement in our mentality. So looking at them, looking at the game, I think the club needed this game as a marker to say this is what it feels like when the Real Madrid bus turns up and parks in your manor. This is what it feels like. And you have to stand with them and walk with them and warm up next to them and see how it feels. And can you still get your game out? And when we had a couple of slips in the first couple of minutes, I thought, they look a bit nervy. But then they settled. And I think it's such an important night for the club. It's been a long time getting here. To get there and get a result in front of the world, major night. Major night.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we don't feel like pretenders at this level anymore. We feel like we belong here, and this is a club of huge size, and that should be in the latter stages of the Champions League every single year. But it's been, prior to last season, it'd been such a long time since we made the quarterfinal stage. We got there last time, as Clive mentions. We fell short. This time, you were looking at the team and you were thinking, okay, show me what you've learned. Show me how you've grown. Show me how you've improved. And, the task, you could argue, is even bigger against Real Madrid and the aura that they have. As great as that Bayern Munich side are, they're not Real Madrid. Nobody is Real Madrid. This is a side that are steeped in history and that beat most teams before they even come out of the tunnel. So to see Arsenal go out there and, as Clive says, really kind of play their game, find their own game was special. And to be fair to Clive, you'd said that on a previous podcast that we did together, that we had to be ourselves. Yeah. It was no good to sort of turning up there and sort of going into our shell. We had to be ourselves, and we did that. And so many players that, over the course of the season, you have looked at and wondered, what level they're at. Jakub Kiwior especially had that nervy bit at the beginning. But sometimes you need the rub of the green. You need, when you have that moment, to not be punished. And it's felt like all season, whenever we had those moments, we've unfortunately been on the wrong side of the outcome, and then that obviously impacts confidence even further. So just an unbelievable night. What did we make? And I'll start with you, Clive, on this Bukayo Saka's performance, because I felt he grew into the game as it went on. The first 10, 15 minutes, I didn't feel he was that involved, but he grew into it. And to put in a display like that, having been out for so long and having played so little minutes since, it's remarkable.
Yeah, I sort of misread his performance. I didn't realise that he got fouled for both the free kicks, and I thought he was just steady. And to be honest, I'm so nervous about his fitness. We can all see he's not at his sharpest, So he's choosing another way to do things rather than explode and really attack the man at top speed. He's going up more in a more considered way, and he's having gear changes, and slowing it down and then going, playing 1-2s. And so when you look at his game, what I like about him is he's getting the most out of what he has at this moment in time. I'm not trying to be the player he was when he got injured, because he was at the top of his game. He's not quite there now, but they all remember him, because he ripped them on that side, didn't he? And I think when you see the game again, which I did in the night, I thought, I misread Saka's performance. I thought he was unfit and rusty, and actually he did everything he actually could. And I think Harry, the influence he has over the opposition is marked, isn't it? Right, so he boosts all our lives. Right, we can't believe he's back out there again. Our whole attack game gets lifted, but I think he makes the other team really worried. His reputation is starting to travel now, and as will other players after this game. Everyone watched this. So Declan Rice, mate. Oh my God, everyone watched it, and so yeah, fantastic performance from him.
Rory, what did you make of Bukayo Saka? I mean, it'd been so much talk about whether or not he was going to be ready to start this game. I think it was always going to be the case that even if at 75%, Bukayo Saka was going to be thrown into the arena, and he delivered.
Yeah, as soon as it had kind of been leaked in Spain that David Alaba was going to be starting at left back, I liked that matchup instantly. And I think it almost took, like you said, Saka's first 15 minutes wasn't up to it. I think it took him a little bit of time to realise just how easily he could get by Alaba either way, and the respect Alaba was showing him, knowing that he couldn't keep up. It's very easy actually for us to get to the box when Saka picks the ball up on the halfway line, and Alaba just backtracks and backtracks and backtracks all the way into the box. And first half, I thought 2 of those balls that he flashed across the box. I think if you've got an elite striker there, they probably read that situation. And he gets a couple of assists. And then, second half wins both of the free kicks. For the second, was it first or second? One of them, he rolled Bellingham quite comfortably, carried it, and got clamped by Camavinga. That's a half-fit Bukayo Saka, and he outshone Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Rodrigo. And I think that is, probably the highest praise that you can give him. And going forwards, every fullback in the world will be scared going into a game against Saka, because he can go down on his right, he can come in on his left. He's just a ridiculously good player.
He is indeed. Just on the Emirates Stadium, guys. I mean, when we first moved stadium, there was a lot of talk about, it not being the same as Highbury, and it took a bit of time for it to feel like home, and all the rest of it. All the natural problems that come with moving from an iconic ground like Highbury to a bowl of a stadium, right? Which is what the Emirates Stadium is. But Clive, it feels to me like since Mikel Arteta's come in particular, there's been a real emphasis on generating the type of atmosphere that we feel could help us, on making it feel more like home, in building that connection with the supporters. And no team has won at the Emirates in the Champions League since the start of last season. There's 9 clean sheets along the way there as well. How much credit does Mikel Arteta deserve for his part in that? Because, I mean, I find it wild that there are still Arsenal fans out there that are hypercritical of him, that when it comes to a night like last night, they want to give everybody else credit before they give it to him. But ultimately, so much of what we saw last night, the structure on the pitch, the atmosphere off the pitch, the connection that he's helped forge, that's all been so important. And he's been right at the centre of that. So on the stadium, how much of a difference is it making, and how much does Mikel deserve praise for that?
Yeah, I mean, if those people want to see us play Bodo Glimt and carry a bag, they're quite happy for that. I'm happy to go and watch Real Madrid at home. Thank you very much. I think we forget how far that we've come. I do feel, that bit where it said in the ground, where it said "make it happen," and I think there was a rallying call, and you can see that message was sent to the players as well. You can see that, couldn't you? Take things, be accountable, make things happen. When we're on top, can we do something? Because against Bayern, we didn't do that. And I think the press conference before the game, I thought was really positive, because he literally told the fans, "I need you in there," And I think you in that press conference, Harry. I need you in there, and I need you to be there for the warm up. And I thought, I'm going to get in there a bit earlier. So I got in there a bit earlier. The ground was packed in the concourses really early. And then I go out to watch the warm-up, and the lower tier is basically full up. And And I've never seen that before at any point in my Emirates Arsenal watching life, and I've been there from the very first game, and so that means the messages are getting through. So for those people who are negative, which are always going to be, the people in that ground had listened to the manager and they had turned up and did their part, and I think the players responded. So the whole connection to the club, the players and the fans, it has wavered a bit this year, and when we haven't got our striker, it has wavered a little bit, and people question our ambition in the short term, and but it was back. It was back 100%. It was back for this game because there's a time to put your small grievances to one side and really support the team, and everyone did that.